Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hey everyone, hope you all are doing well. I am Sahitya Rai, co-founder of Vaibhav community and open source enthusiast. I would like to welcome you all to this brand new session with Mr. Vaibhav about Web 3.0. It is glorious moment to extend my warm wishes on behalf of EduHub community and Google Developer Student Club UEM Jaipur. Let me talk a bit about EduHub community. It's a community for the people, by the people. The vision of the community is to build an environment where people can learn together and implement together. It provides people the opportunity to work with themselves, showcase their skills, and work with team and contribute to open source project. Now, let's talk about today's event sponsor, iNeuron. iNeuron started as a product development company, then launched its EdTech division. They provide 360-degree solution from learning to internship to find a job, and the first ever education platform, OTT platform, to upgrade your skill set. This event is association with Google Developer Student Club, University of Engineering and Management, UVM Jaipur. Let me introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Vaibhav Jindal. He is blockchain developer at Polygon. He will discuss more about Web 3.0 and blockchain technology in this particular session. Now, I would like to hand over this virtual stage to Mr. Vaibhav. You can start your presentation.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sahitya. You are doing great work in the community, and I would say the community learning is the best learning. Peer learning, it's the best part. Yeah.
Obviously.
So good evening, audience. And today I will just talk about the basic of the blockchain. I'm not going much into deep. So I'm assuming my audience is very new to blockchain, and if anyone is expert here, yeah, you may get bored. Yeah, it's very basic. And now I'm presenting my screen. Just yeah. Are you all able to see my screen? Hello.
Yeah, your screen is perfectly visible.
Oh, thank you, Sahitya. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk about what is blockchain. Yeah. As we can see, the blockchain is built up of two words, block and chain. Here we have blocks. As you can see, here we have blocks and connected to the chain. That's simple. But when I say that these are connected through the chain in the real object term, so when I deep dive into it more, I can see how they are connected. Yeah, the block 2 is connected to block 1 through the hash, right? As you can see, I have written inside the block 2 the hash. So before it, I just want to talk about what is block, right? Block is nothing but the set of data, and in this set of data we have the hash of the previous block, we have the transactions, we have the data which we want to store, right? So when I say the block 2 is connected to block 1, I mean the block 2 is having the hash of block 1, and the block 3 is connected to block 2. I mean block 3 is having a hash of block 1. Block 3 is having a hash of block 2, and in a similar way block 4. So as you can see, this chain of blocks is similar to our coaches and in the railway. They are connected to each other. And in the coaches, we have commuters, and in the same way in the blocks, we have data, right? And all the blocks have the list of transactions. So I have just tried to give you the basic of what is blockchain, and it's very common term, blockchain, and this part. But I just want to tell the story. Why we need a blockchain? Why we need to store the data inside the block if we can store it into the server? We can host the AWS server. We can make our own server, central server, and store the data. Yes. So let's take a case of the five friends going out for a dinner, and and the total bill comes of 1,000 rupees. And one of your friend pays that 1,000 rupees bill, and all other four are going to give him or her 200 rupees, right? So all of us have in our mind, all the five friends have in the mind that that person gave 1,000 rupees, and all the four others has to give 200 rupees, right? So, and the next time you go to a dinner at some other place and other friend give, and you repeat the step. So you all five friends have the data of two transactions, of the previous dinner transaction and the next dinner transaction, right? But let's assume now one of your friend is greedy. He don't want to pay the 200 rupees. He can say, no, I don't remember anything. I don't remember the 200 rupees. No, you just paid the 500 rupees. I just need to give you the 100 rupees. At that time, all other four friends can say, no, you are saying wrong, right? What we can get from here is, if the one friend is greedy, is a culprit, malicious, there are all other four who can say, no, you are wrong. If the majority of people are saying you are wrong, means that first friend is wrong. The greedy friend is wrong and he's proved wrong, and he has to give 200 rupees, right? And in the similar way, let assume a case, if instead of storing it in the on if all the five friends have just trusted on a central server which belong to the first friend, let assume, and they store the transaction, and after some time the first friend, as usual greedy friend, will change the transaction inside that central database. And if the changes are made in the central database, and then all other friends have to believe that central database, that is the only source of truth. Now that greedy friend changed the transaction 2,000 to 500, and of giving 200 to just 100, and now he's going to benefit from it. Yeah, here comes the usage of blockchain. So in the blockchain, there are a lot of nodes. When I say nodes, it is just a set of computers. One in America, one in China, one in India, one in Singapore. Lot of computers. And the data is stored in all the computers. If I am saying I just want to give Sahitya 100 rupees, that data that I'm mentioning here, the list of transaction, that transaction data is going to store in all the nodes, right? And if I'm sitting in India, if I just want to change a transaction, no, I can't change. It will just remove me from the system. Here, as I've told you about the story of the blockchain, now I just want to do more technical part. As I've just told you about these blocks and that data I was talking, that I am going to give Satya 100 rupees, that is a transaction, and that is going to be stored in the block. And now here comes the point. Why we need a block? No, so many blocks. Why don't we make just one block and store the transaction? Keep on storing the transaction into it. Yes, we can do it, but that transaction should be in short span of time. If I'm getting 20 transactions today, 20 transactions tomorrow, 20 transactions after tomorrow, and so I will just pack this today's transaction in just one block, and I will send it to all my friends, all the nodes, and they all the nodes are going to check the 20 transactions whether the 20 transactions are right or wrong. If the transactions are right, then they are going to save that block, keep it into their database, and if it is wrong, they are going to discard. So in this way, with a blockchain, we are just providing the security of the data that any malicious person can't change the data, right? I hope you all got the point that the main concept of decentralization, what we mean is, lot of people are having the same set of data. If one person is going to change the data, we can find him, because we other five have good data, and that bad data can be detected, and he can't, that malicious user can be just find out, right? And now one day just one set of data block, and next day I'm just making another block, and third day I'm making another block, and I'm connected to each other through previous block, through the hash. And when I say the hash is just this part. The block 2 has two parts now, hash 1 and the list of transaction. We will just put it into a black box, and that black box is called hash generator, and it will generate the hash 2, and we will pass that hash 2 to this block 3. That's simple. And now comes the game that we play in the blockchain. Th- that I have There are 50 people in the system, and I have made the block, and tomorrow who is going to make a block? If I won't be getting anything, I won't do anything. I won't generate the block, because block generation also take time, block generation also take your computer power. But we get the reward for generating a block. Now we get the block for generating the reward, a reward for generating the block. Now there will be a race in all the 50 people. Who is going to generate the next block next day? And this this race of generating the next block is converted into the mathematical part. I Now I just want to talk about the proof of work. So basically, we 50 people are there, and we are on the race that who is going to build our next block. So so before the starting the blockchain, we just kept one system that at every block there we are given the output. All the 50 nodes are given the output at each block, and we all are given the black box, and we have to find we 50. Now the race is to find out the input which is going to give that specific output. And this part is a black box. We aren't aware how the system work of the black box. So we just randomly keep on putting the input data, 1 2 5 6 7, so that we reach the given output. And now 50 people start 50 people just start working on it, giving the input to the black box. The person who first find out the input which matches, which when given to the black box, which given to this black box give that specific output, he wins the race. And now he start generating the block. Here starts the journey of generating the block. And now to generate the block, what he needs, as I previously told you, he need the hash of the previous one. previous block. He needs a transaction set of transactions. And just diverting from the topic, when I say the transaction, I just want to make it more clear. The transactions in the Bitcoin system, we say the transaction means I am paying to Sahitya 20 rupees. Sahitya is paying to Vaibhav 10 rupees. And Ram is paying, Alex is paying 40 rupees to Bob. Bob is paying 100 rupees to Charlie. So we are now having a 5 transaction. And these transactions are propagated, are made available to all the nodes. And now the winner of this race, now come back to the race point of view, the winner of this block generation will just put 5 transaction or 10 transaction into the black box, not in the black box, into a block, our block, and he's going to propagate that block to all its peer. Now first of all, its peer are going to check whether he hasn't changed any transaction or not. It might be possible that the person who won the race might change the transaction. Previously, Vaibhav is saying that Vaibhav is going to pay 20 rupees to Charlie, 20 rupees to Sahitya. That block generator might change it to 100 rupees. Vaibhav is going to pay 100 rupees. Right? So to check this, all the nodes who are going to receive this block will check whether the transaction included are right or wrong, whether they are valid or not. When I say the valid means, if I am paying 100 rupees to Charlie, 100 rupees to Sahitya, or 20 rupees, sorry, 20 rupees to Sahitya, I should have 20 rupees in my account, right? If I have only 10 rupees in my account, I can't pay. So this transaction is invalid, right? If I'm paying negative rupees to Sahitya, like assume I'm paying minus 10 to Sahitya, it is invalid. If I am using the wrong address of Sahitya, means the standard address size is 20 bit, and I'm just using 10, it's wrong. So all the nodes are going to check now that whether the transactions are right or wrong, whether this block is connected to previous block or not. When I say the connected, it means this block has the hash of the previous one or not. If they find it right, if they find it true, then they connect it to their chain. When they connect it to their chain and they store that chain in their database, right? So this is the proof of work. But I think all of you have heard that proof of work takes a lot of energy. It is against the nature. Yeah, it is against the nature. And the Bitcoin use this because we need to, as you can see, this is a mathematical equation. We're just inputting something, inputting the number, getting the output. We have to run it millions, billions of time just to get the perfect input. And all the 50 nodes are running this. So it is taking a lot of energy. This black box takes a lot of energy to compute. So I can say the proof of work is taking a lot of energy, and that energy is going to waste because out of 50, only one is going to win the race. So basically, energy is wasted in just the process of race of generating the block. But what will I do now? But here come the Bitcoin still use a proof of work, but here comes the new system of proof of stake. Now we are now 50 people again. No, it's as per chart. Let just take 4 people for simplicity. Okay, and I just say, and there is some port. Okay, and I'm just putting 10 rupees in the port, and another node is putting 20 rupees. Another node is putting 5 rupees, and another node is putting 100 rupees, right? And this is a roulette wheel, and you can see this fraction is based on the amount of money I put in the pot, right? And this roulette wheel is revolved now, is rotated now. Whoever's win this race, whoever win this roulette race is now going to generate the block. In the proof of work, all have to do the work, all have to compute, all are putting a lot of electricity in computing. But now only just one roulette wheel has to be moved. And higher my stake, higher my probability. As you can see, this part, this sector has highest chance of winning the race because it has the highest stake. So this parts are based on the stake I put. So now till now, what I just want to recap, that we learned about why we need the blockchain, what is blockchain, what is who is going to generate the block, and there how many ways for generating a block. Now I just we have talked about this proof of stake, proof of work, but there are a lot of proofs, other method also. And although I haven't made the PPT of the address, when I say the address, there is very important term in the blockchain field: public key, private key, and the address. Right? Each user. Now I'm not saying about the node. Each user, everyone in this world, can generate their public key and keep it with them. And with that public key, they can generate the with that private key, they can generate the public key, and with that public key, they can generate the address. But they can't go in the reverse direction. What I mean is, with A, they can generate B, with B, they can generate C, but with C, they can't generate B, and with B, they can generate A. Okay. So, till now, I was just talking, Vaibhav pay 20 rupees to Sahitya, Vaibhav pay 20 rupees to Sahitya. It's just our language. It's a human language, right? We can write it on a paper. Vaibhav is going to pay 20 rupees to Sahitya. But how are we going? But this, when I say the transactions, they, for that we need to have some mathematical terms, like our bank account numbers, that we are transferring from this bank account to that bank account, right? So I am going to say, Vaibhav is going to write a transaction that 100 rupees to Sahitya address, and I am going to sign that transaction like we sign the check, or we use the pin. When we do the online transaction, the UPI, what we do? We put the pin, we put the address of the uh, person, and we just put our pin, right? But here we don't have pin. Here we have the private key that we first generated. So we are going to just make a transaction, address of Sahitya, amount of money that I am going to pay, and I am going to sign it with my private key. And I can't go more deep into the signing part. It's quite deep part, more technical heavy part, signing part. But let us assume it's a type of black box where I'm putting the transaction, this much money to this address, and I'm putting my private key, and it is going to give me that signed transaction, right? And with when this signed transaction is given to all the nodes, when the signed transaction is propagated to all the nodes, and there is another black box now. Sorry to say, I'm using a lot of terms, the black box. Why I'm using the black box? Black box is nothing but just a mathematical part, advanced mathematical part, right? And coming back, when I give this signed transaction to all the nodes have their have black box. After passing through that black box, that signed transaction, they can get, okay, it is signed by Vaibhav, because it is signed by Vaibhav, right? It is good transaction. It is signed by Vaibhav. It is not signed by anyone else on the behalf of Vaibhav. It might not be the case that on my behalf some Sahitya friend is saying give 1,000 rupees to Sahitya to benefit the Sahitya, but I am going to just, and he is using uh, he's using it in my name, right? But he don't have my private key. That's why that transaction will get invalid, because that is not signed properly. That is not signed by me, although that contain the same transaction inside. Pay this much money to Sahitya, to the Sahitya address, from this address, from my address, but that transaction is not signed properly. That transaction is not having the valid signature. So so I would say, when you learn, so it's very, I have just told you about very commonly about the blockchain, how it works, how the system works. Just I've just given the overview. You have to read about it, and I think you will get it. And if you want to just use hand on experience, try to see some tutorials online and try to make the transaction on any chain. When I say the transaction, you have to pay the fees, right? Like in the bank, when you say, I'm not in the UPI is free till now, but when you do anything else, they just charge you 5 rupees, 10 rupees, bank charge you. In the similar way, blockchain also charge you. That's the benefit of blockchain. Otherwise, no one is going to store the lot of data only just to benefit you. Everyone is greedy now in this world. No one is going to store your data. So you just pay the transaction fees for every transaction, like just 1%, 2%. And I would like to say that you should also try, if you want to learn more about this field, learn more about the basic of this field, try to see the online tutorials to send the transaction to send the transaction to this account to that account. And you can generate your own account on private key very easily using the MetaMask. And remember this term. I hope you might may also know this term MetaMask. This is the extension, MetaMask extension. There you can generate the private key, and with that you can generate the public key, and there only you can just put someone as address and you can transfer the money, right? I really want that all of you should try that part after seeing any tutorials online. You can, I'm from Polygon, and the Polygon has a test net. There you can try, not on the main net. Yeah, when I say the main net and the test net is just a dummy blockchain which is just run by us, just to help the users to just learn about it, to check whether their transaction is good or to just to check are they using the blockchain in right way or not before moving to the main net where they need to spend the money, right? So it's the basic of the blockchain, and the main crux is your data. When you send your data, your transactions are going to be safe. There is no single party who can change the transaction, right? And now the these two terms, web3 and the blockchains, are used in conjunction to each other. Blockchain, which I have just described, it's just like internet lines which is passing through the oceans. It is just like the uh, internet tower. But on that internet lines, we create the application. Our Facebook, our Instagram is an app. Our Instagram is an application, but the underlying mechanism is the internet, is that line where the data is moving. In the similar way, you can understand that Web3 is based, when we say Web3, it is meaning the application. and they are sending the data to this underlying blockchain, right? So nowadays, coming to a good point, what is the benefit to you, how you can enter this web3 field? There are many ways. If you like coding, you can enter this field, coding field, learn about the blockchain, learn about the coding. If you want the product field, product manager, try to follow the web3 try to follow more about the web3, try to follow about the solutions, because there is a lot of need of product manager in the web3, because it is in very beginning stage and has a lot of problems, and we need the people, we need the mind to solve that problems. And there comes a part of product managers, and there comes a part of community managers. When I say the community manager, I say I just made out the project, right? But I just need to spread it among the people, I just need to spread it among the audience. There comes the team community manager who market the product. So what I can say, just if you just want, if you're interested in web3, and you might not be interested because it's a very new field, and you can just read about it more. You can follow some web3 newsletter, you can follow some people on the people on Twitter, you can start seeing the watching the YouTube videos, so you can get the more insight. After getting, after 2 3 months of getting the insight, if you like it, you can just start choosing one any field. If you want to just go into the coding field, you can uh, start you can start learning coding like Go language and the Rust language, which are very much common. And you can just starting about the consensus. What I mean by the consensus, that I just mentioned, that proof of work and the proof of stake, there are a lot of things and a lot of mechanism going, how to accept the block, when to neglect the block, when anyone is malicious, how to catch that person. It is very simple to say in this layman term, but in the coding part, you have to do hard work. Here's the come of the role of the blockchain engineer. And if you like the web front end part, then you can go in the web3 field, right? So there you can learn about the front end, and there you can learn how to connect this front end to the blockchain, like we connect the Facebook app to the internet in a similar way. There are a lot of fields. I hope you all got my point. And it's very small, it's very basic information I give. It might be possible you may have only got to 5%, it's okay. But my point is, no one can teach you the blockchain in just 20 minutes to 30 minutes, but you yourself can. Just use just use a Twitter, use LinkedIn, just use follow the newsletter, watch YouTube videos, so that you can keep getting more insight. And you can, if you like any concept, you can learn more about it in deep. That's all from my side. uh, I have one more part, the smart contract. I don't think I should go into it more, because it's not very difficult part. Smart contracts, you can read it yourself. But if I go it now, and the audience who are very in the very beginning stage, and for them, if the blockchain, it is their first blockchain talk, then it might not be good to learn about the smart contracts. Thanks a lot. You have been a lovely audience.
Okay, so there are several questions in the chat box. Let me go through one by one. So
Okay.
first question is from Ishika. What are the real world application of blockchain?
Yeah, the first real world application of the blockchain is the banking system, right? If I just want to send, in India, it's very easy. If I just want to send to Ishika, use some money, 20 rupees, I can just do the UPI, right? It's very easy. It's just taking out 5 seconds. But if you are in Australia, and if I'm in India, and if I want to send you money, you know that flow of the money. First, it goes to my bank in India, and that bank communicate to the bank in the US, and that US bank is going to communicate to your bank in Australia, and then Australia bank is going to give you the money. So it is 2 to 3 day process, and sometimes takes 7 to 8 days also. And it is also as the more parties are involved in between, as you can see, the three banks are involved in between: India bank, US bank, Australia bank. So it is going to charge you the more fees. But let's take the case of blockchain. If I just want to send you 20 rupees, I can send on the I can send here. I will write my transaction, I will sign that transaction, I will give it to the nodes, and you will receive the transaction. So basically all the nodes, what happens, all the nodes have their directory, that Ishika is having this much money, Vaibhav is having this much money. There is a side directory which is belong to all the nodes, and using the directory, these transactions are validated and measured and all. Yeah, that's the main real world application. And there are more lot of transactions also, applications also. Yeah.
Okay, one more. This is a similar question like helps in banking sector,
Yeah.
impact in banking sector.
Yeah, I have covered the main part.
Yeah.
And we can also use it in more detail, like lending, borrowing also. Nowadays, you if I just want to borrow 20 rupees, 20,000 rupees from the bank, so bank have a lot of formalities, right? Even after putting the collateral, if I'm just putting my home, and it is then also a lot of form work and all. But in the blockchain, if you're just putting collateral something, uh, then I can say they can just give me in seconds the 20 rupees, 20,000 rupees. Yeah. It's a question from Roshan Kumar. Which
Yeah.
technology is best for blockchain? It depends. When you want to become a code protocol developer, when I say the protocol developer, when you just want to code how to validate the transaction, when you just say which block to accept and all, for them, now there is Rust and Golang, and the Rust language. And if you are just aware about the smart contracts, and you can go into the smart contract field called smart contract developer, and there we use Solidity. Yeah. And in the front end, it's common. There are Web3 libraries in front end. That's not much.
How can we make career in blockchain from Subham?
Yeah. When you mean the career, I mean how to get the job, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah. So basically, now companies have started coming to the campus, but it's very also very rare. But the main part is now just to cold mail, just to cold messaging the people on the LinkedIn, right? Like Saitya messaged me after saying that I am working as a blockchain engineer. Shubham, you can also message me. Although please don't message me. I don't have any authority. Yeah, I'm just giving an example, right? You can contact. You can follow the manager on the LinkedIn. Message him. My manager you can follow, but I won't say his name. And there are a lot of companies in the Web3 field nowadays. You have to search for them. You have to cold message them, and out of 100, only 1 and 2 will reply. It's truth. So it's okay. Just start messaging them. But before messaging, just try to learn the any language, Go language, and try to implement it. Try to implement any project. If you are going to fit in the contact field, learn Solidity, deploy some contracts. You should have something to present if you're going out for a job, right? Next question.
Okay, so next question is from Ishika again. Like she wants to know about the difference between Web3 and Web2.
Yeah, I have just covered in my starting
Yeah.
part only. Yeah, the
Hmm.
friends part. If one of the friend is greedy and he's a central server, he's going to change the data, right? Is once the data is gone, no. But here, if the data is distributed to 5 people, if one is going to change the data, other four can other four can just detect he's saying wrong. That's the benefit. The more the safety of the data.
Yeah. Another question, but I guess this is not a beginner friendly. Like how hash value is assigned to a block.
No, no, I have covered the how the hash will is assigned.
Yeah.
Basically, the block has hash of the previous block and the set of transactions, and a lot of other things also, which I can't cover now. Let's assume some x data, some x parameter, okay, and we just put all this data, hash, list of transactions, and some extra data into the hashing function, and that hashing function returns the hash. Like if you put your name Amar Sansil in the hashing function, it is going to give you a 20-bit hash, right? And if I'm going to put 1,000 word name in that hashing function, it is going to return me 20-bit, right? Yeah, in this way the hash is calculated.
Again, from
uh,
Orgo, what type of records can be kept
uh,
in blockchain? Is there any
yeah,
restrictions?
yeah. In the when the invent of blockchain with the Bitcoin, we can only keep the transactions, right? When I say the transaction means I am paying 20 rupees to Saitya again, and Saitya is paying 20 rupees to Aditya. Yeah. But with the Ethereum contracts, we can do a lot. And I think to get more about it, I would recommend you to read about the contracts, smart contracts. Yeah.
Question from Gargi. What type of records can be kept in blockchain? Is oh, same question again, I guess.
Oh, just a copy paste. Garlic copy paste.
What are the limitations in blockchain from Orgo again?
Yeah. Limitation, it's still now not the user friendly. When I say the user friendly, the people are not aware of the private key, and we need to keep that private key safe, because if anyone gets your private key, he or she can sign the transaction on your behalf and send to the blockchain, and in this way they can steal your data. So you just need to keep that private key safe. And till now it's very in beginning infant stage, so not very good UI and all as we get in web 2 projects. That's a basic limitation. And you can't store a lot of data in the blockchain, no, because the fees you pay is because of the data, because one data is going to get stored on a lot of servers. So size of the data is proportional to the fees. No, sorry, fees is proportional to the size of data you're going to pay. Yeah, that's the basic limitation.
A question from Aditya, like what is ledger?
Okay. Aditya, uh, have you heard about ledger from any some wallet, hardware wallet type, Aditya?
If you're
uh,
there, Aditya, you can just type on chat.
because I think the ledger is a company who makes the hardware wallet. Yeah, and that's
Let's move on to the next question. Like again, Anushka is asking about the limitation part that is covered. Uh, there is another question from Aman. I don't know where is a blockchain stored?
yeah, it's a good question. uh, what is blockchain? Blockchain is just a chain of blocks, and the blocks, what are blocks have the transactions inside them, okay? And what are transactions? Just a data. You can, for now, you can just say data, right? So in your in your local machine also you store the data, right? In the similar way, the blockchain is stored. That when you say the blockchain stored, data is stored. Data is stored means that blocks are stored, right? So I am going to store that chain. I'm going to store that block. I'm going to store that data. And Aman is also going to store the data. Saitya is also going to store the data. Yeah, that's every local machines are going to store the data, right? And that machine belongs to different people. Right? That's a fact.
A question from Saurabh Shukla. I guess he is asking about what is mining.
Yeah, it's here written minting. Okay, it's okay. It's him. Mining. when I just talked about who is going to win the race, basically the mining is a process of generating the block, nothing else. Yeah, and for that you have to win the race. That's
Perfect. So there are several questions like, um, what is the difference between Bitcoin blockchain and Ethereum blockchain?
yeah. The Bitcoin blockchain only support the transactions, but Ethereum blockchain also support the smart contracts.
Okay.
Yeah, and the now I can say I think all of you heard about the merge, Ethereum merge. It was quite famous. So
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin is a proof of work. Ethereum was also proof of work before 15th of September, but after that it converted to proof of stake.
A question from Prithvajit. Name some popular platforms for developing blockchain applications.
I am not getting a question. What do you mean by the popular platforms?
Like
But
he's
yeah,
asking about the deployment or something like that.
yeah,
How
okay.
to deploy
Once
blockchain.
you learn about what is contract, how to deploy the contract, you will learn about there are a lot of tools like Remix and all, Remix ID and all, which help you to deploy the contract. And I have told you about the MetaMask. MetaMask is a software wallet, and they will help you to sign the transaction, send the transaction. So basically, usage of these tools you can work. There is no specific tool I can say, which will help you to create the Web3 application. It might be there, but I am not aware.
Okay, so there is another question like, I'm beginning a beginner. How can I start my blockchain career?
Yeah. First of all, you need to understand in which field you want to go. Whether you just want to go into contract field, whether you want to go into just consensus field, whether you want to go into front end part where you can connect it with the blockchain, and after that, you can start learning about the basic of their fields, and then after that, you can start applying for internships and all because internships are the best way to learn or doing the projects right. You can start building your own project after some time. Like the basic project you can build, like a banking system you can build. That's all. When I say the banking system, you can just create the UI for that banking system. Right?
There is a question like, it's hey sir, you told me that blockchain is the safest platform where we can save our personal data. Recently, 30 million Bitcoin were stored on their platform.
Yeah, nice question. I like it. I think I just mentioned that if Sahitya got my private key, he can steal a lot of money from me. So that's a limitation of the blockchain. You need to keep that private key safe. Yeah, that's the main part.
Okay.
Sometimes what people do, that
So,
just put along with the project, they put their private key on the GitHub, and
mhm.
there are people who came across your private key and they can steal a lot money from you.
Another question from Gaming Best like, sir, if Web 3.0 was established, there is no specific owner of it which increase the cybercrime. So it's better than Web 2.0. Is it better than Web 2.0?
It depends. If the
Mm-hmm.
data, if you are storing the data which has the more importance in terms of security, then Web3 is good. If you're storing the data which is has no which is a lot of data and has not so important in the term of security, then it's okay.
The benefits of blockchain. Prithvajit is asking about.
Yeah, covered most. I have covered the
Mhm.
like a
Yeah,
five
yeah, covered.
of the data mainly.
There is another question like, can we apply blockchain in AI?
Yes, you can connect the fields. Yeah, but the use case you have to think of.
Perfect. So I can see the all the questions are covered and most of the questions are like similar. Perfect. Okay, guys, if you have any kind of question, please feel free to ask in the comment. Another question from Rajiv Ray. Like why some of countries government are against a crypto if it's based on blockchain.
Yeah. So what happened? If I get the power to directly transfer you Rajiv money, then where comes the role of government? Like in the present system, send some money to bank send to the America send to you, a lot of hustle in between. And at every step there is a government intervention, there is a government profit, there is a government control, right? Who can send the money, how much money you can send, because then they detect you for any income tax fraud and all, right? That's why. So basically the government is losing the control with the crypto. Yeah, that's why they are against it.
Okay, another question from Gargi. Is blockchain the antidote to all the business problems?
Can't comment about all the problems, but to some problems.
Okay. Okay, I guess we can wrap up the session. So, for your certificate and attendance purpose, you can fill the Google form where you can give your give the event feedback, and everything is in the Google form. You can submit your data, and we will send the certificate to you after this event. And again, I would like to thank Vaibhav for coming over here and enlighten us with your talk and explain about Web 3.0. And thank you for joining. Thank you for joining everyone to this session.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You all have been a lovely audience.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.